Exorcast, episode 23?
3. Yes.
23, yeah.
Yeah, remember, 20 was Color from Space, so now, in order, we're doing 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Dude,
So,
I totally knew that. I totally knew, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It
episode
gets
23,
harder to know.
Amityville 3D
in 2D.
Yeah.
in 2D. Well,
And
I'm in
very
like
crappy
2.5D over here.
Yeah,
watching
we're actually doing this in 3D only because you were talking about it in the dimension that we're talking about it, the 2D movie. So I guess it's 3D because we're talking about it after the fact.
Probably one of the worst transfers Scream Factory ever released.
To be fair on that one, I think that's probably one of the worst transfers MGM ever released, and Scream Factory just put it out the same way.
But they put it in a box set so you wouldn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
But you
So-
get 1 and 2.
This disc, for anyone that doesn't have this set, you can watch it in 3D if you have a real 3D television player and the clear glasses, or 2D. There is no option for one or the other. It's just whatever equipment you have. So my 4K player is also a 3D Blu-ray player, but my TV is not. So this played in 3D for me, even though I couldn't watch it in 3D. So everyone had an outline. Everything in this movie had a fucking outline. And it was real annoying.
It might have made the movie more interesting.
Well, that's the thing. This is the point where I will point out that this is MGM's transfer. It is in 2D, even though they have the balls to actually write Amityville 3D on the cover. It is in 2D. There is no 3D
the actual name of the film is 3D, though.
Right. What I'm saying is, it doesn't say anywhere on here anything about the fact that it's in 2D or anything like that. It's just the name of the movie is that. They don't tell you that it's not in 3D, that they've basically taken the transfer, etc. But the thing is, there were rings around things in this version. Not everybody, mind you, but there are points where, like, you'll see in the corner some bushes, and for some reason the bushes have like a weird halo to them, like in bluish or reddish, and similar kinds of things. Beyond the obvious shit we'll get to, where something points out the camera, that there are moments where, like, just random shit is just, blurry-ish or hazed, in essence.
Yeah. All these old 80s 3D movies look terrible, by the way. Like, I think, now, be it I've not watched the new Friday the 13th release that came out from Scream Factory, but even the old, I thought the old Blu-ray of Friday the 13th Part 3 looked a little questionable in times.
I mean, I thought it looked all right, but we've never had a really good transfer of it.
It does the job, basically.
Hopefully this one, I know a lot of people got that Friday the 13th set today and yesterday, which today's October 8th, but I think its actual release day is this coming Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Because I know mine's supposed to be here Thursday.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if they all... I mean, a lot of those kind of things, when they're on the ball, Shout Factory can get that kind of stuff out quickly.
Well, I know Diabolic's shipping them.
Diabolic, exactly. That's half the reason why, too.
Jesse posted that he had to get he had to rent a storage shed just for the box sets, for the Friday the 13th, for the Gamras, and the Dawn of the Deads that are coming.
Must be an indoor one, because I don't know if I trust an outdoor shed. Like storage building.
If it's...
you get a good enough lock.
I mean,
well, I'm just talking about, like, the weather conditions. You know?
If it's heat I mean, a lot of those things are heat controlled.
Some are, yeah. Maybe there, not in Tennessee. Sometimes you just take your stuff.
Tennessee's a little behind the times in most things.
A little bit, in some regard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Amityville 3D. This is 1983, and was terrible year. Was directed by Richard Fleischer.
He who gave the world Soylent Green.
I want to point out, Chicken Nuggets came out in 1983 too.
He's 1 for 1 then.
Yeah.
Or 1 for 2. 1 for 2.
I'm sure he did other stuff too, but that's the big one.
Yeah, sure. So, which one of you two's doing the synopsis? Because I am not.
Not me.
How did I know? I mean, I think I was the one who did the synopsis for Amityville too, but sure. Why not?
Makes sense of it.
Here's the thing, honestly. I can actually do this synopsis because it will take me about a third of the time. Goes something like this. Hey, there's this couple. They're your bargain basement Ed and Lorraine Warren, in essence. They go to the Amityville house where this old woman and her assistant are going to have a seance. And as the seance is going on, suddenly, strange things start happening and they start acting weird. And then this unbelievably crappy looking green floating orb comes in, which I mentioned that way because it's supposed to be that way. At which point one of them immediately starts taking pictures and they all start turning the lights on and they reveal that they're actually part of a skeptical magazine. They're not married or anything. They just work together and they're there to bust this woman who does cheap, shoddy seances and charges people shit tons of money for it. They gotten tipped off by the cops, and apparently this couple was using the Amityville house to do seances. So the guy of the two says, "Oh, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm looking for a place to stay because I'm going through this divorce, and I've got this book I'm trying to write. I know, I'll buy this house. I know everything about it."
The owner says, "I'll give it to you really cheap."
Yeah, doesn't give
because he
exact
can't
value.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't think it's actually haunted.
Yeah, there's this whole sequence where they're standing way away from the house talking about this house, and the woman is inside taking pictures of the house for coverage for the magazine, and she sees them talking, and he's all, hesitant and stuff, but the guy is literally basically just saying, "Please, for the love of God, take it off my hands." And so he says, "Sure, I'll buy this house for just myself, this 3-story house just for myself. My stepchildren or my stepdaughter can come visit me."
Is it his stepdaughter?
I think it's his actual daughter.
It's his real daughter.
It's his actual daughter, yeah. My daughter can come visit me when she's not conning people out of money to get her children into Stanford.
Fucking Aunt Becky.
But and so he moves in and stuff starts going weird again because this time in the ever-growing story, ever-growing game of Where's the Hole in the House, that has moved from a wall that's been bricked up to a door covered by a hatch filled with shit to a random dry well covered with a few pieces of wood.
In the center of the floor in the basement.
In the center of the floor in the basement that the real estate guy falls through at one point. You'd think he would have found it by now. But yeah, he lives there. He moves in, and shit starts going awry. I mean, there's really nothing else to say in that regard. Shit just starts going crazy, and he has to deal with moving into this house and dealing with the house while trying to write this book and dealing with his divorce. I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. The only good thing I can say about this movie is it's always interesting to go back and watch and see the big time stars that pop up randomly in probably their first rows or some of the first rows. I mean, that was Meg Ryan, right?
Yeah,
it was Meg Ryan.
The daughter was Lori Loughlin,
and her best friend was Meg Ryan.
And her best friend is played by Meg Ryan. Yes.
And there's a little, at some points, maybe who gets killed might be a bit of a surprise. Outside of that, there's like a scene where a death with a car and a fire. I think it's probably maybe the epitome of cool in this thing, unless you're just a fan of just random monsters popping out of holes, which is amusing. But
what if you're a fan of a guy doing this
this? Yeah, this thing's a mess. It's a dull mess. It's weird. I mean, I don't know. It didn't flow good. I don't think it flowed good. I think they're more worried about the 3D than there was anything else when it comes to this movie, and I think it shows. Does the first two movies even exist in this movie?
So the implication is at least the first one does, because that's why they're there. Because this stuff happened at some point.
Well,
or at least
the second one, technically the second one would have had to have.
I think supposedly I read somewhere there is a reference to the second one or something like that in either this one or the next one we're going to talk about. So I guess they kind of exist in the universe. But this is the epitome of people say things about Friday the 13th Part 3D. The yo-yo shot, things like that. This fucker. I mean, you've got we're gonna set up our audio equipment here. Let me stick the boom mic right out into the thing. Let me put this flashlight right at the camera. Let's have the flies attack the person. But some of them are either fake flies on obviously their fishing line, or what has to be really old, cheesy 1980s level CG-ish fly that is quite clearly not there, but is purely there to fly out at the audience.
Yeah.
They can't even really fit the. I don't know if this happened to you guys, but they can't even fit the title of the movie on the screen because they're trying to pop it out at you, and it kind of like cuts off.
They can't just have a regular flashlight. They have to have this big, giant, long flashlight.
Yep. And also, not only can they not fit that on there, every single actor in the opening credits has to have a 3D credit that pops out at the screen.
Yep.
It's like there's people say some of those movies are gimmicky. This is a gimmicky 3D movie.
I was just going to say, this one throws every 3D gimmick at you that it possibly can.
Yep.
And James, did you say that this is the only film that's not rated R?
Yeah. The first
and it's rated
film.
PG, not PG-13.
Yes.
PG.
Now, PG-13 as a rating, let me check this before I say it. PG-13 rating. When did it start?
I was going to ask you that.
I'm trying to figure out like exactly when.
Well, you got to also take into account that PG-13 and PG in the 80s would probably not pass for PG or PG-13 now.
But here's the thing, though. If that's the case, then they shouldn't have, rated it PG.
Well, I mean, The Wraith is PG-13 and it's got boobs in it.
So the reason why it's not PG-13 is because that didn't come out until 2 years later.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, like when people talk nowadays about here's a horror movie that came out that's PG-13, and they say it like something's going to be cut out. This is PG because it's PG. As in, deaths are off screen, no blood at all, anywhere in the movie.
There's nothing to cut out of this film.
There's nothing to cut. They built the movie where every death or every freak occurrence is somewhere off screen, basically. And the other thing is, I was going to mention this. Let's Play budget. The first Amityville Horror, and the reason this is even a franchise, was made on a $4.7 million budget and made $86 million worldwide. The second movie was rated R on a $5 million budget and made $12.5 million. Not as good, but it still made double its money. This movie was PG on a $6 million budget. It had the biggest budget of the three movies, probably because it was 3D.
Yes.
It just barely made back $6 million. It made $6.33 million. Like, it's the shortest, and yet somehow, as we discussed in the last one, it still feels too fucking long.
Well, this tanking, essentially, kind of makes sense as to why the next episode, when we review 4, that it was a made-for-TV movie.
Yes.
That makes sense then.
We'll get to it in that episode, but I want to point out, when they interview Sandor Stern on the Blu-ray for 4, he talks about that when they were going to do Amityville Horror originally, the first movie, they were going to do it as a CBS TV movie. And that was what he was originally signing up for, because he's got experience with like doing TV movies. And then they said, hey, MGM called us and they want to make it actually a feature and give CBS the rights. So the first movie was going to be a TV movie when they were originally like in development, and then MGM gave them money and said, no, we'll put it in theaters. So it has always had that kind of in the background of it, but it ain't ever been that forward about it until this movie. The universally shit.
Before tonight, I would have said, yeah, I've seen this movie at least once. I don't know that I have. I think this might have been the first time I've watched it.
Definitely is for me.
Because
maybe you just blocked it out.
I don't know if I could fucking block something like this out.
That's what I'm saying.
It's bad. Like,
yeah.
Going into this and this whole retrospective, I was like, we've got some good movies, and then we've got, later down we're gonna have some real bad ones. It's like we've got the real fucking bad ones right off the get go. What was I thinking? Sorry, James, but we're in it for the long haul now, man. I mean,
no, I know. I'm aware.
It's what we're wasting our October on right here.
I
um,
mean,
it could get better. At
it,
least gets a
it's
little
definitely
better.
gonna get better. It's definitely gonna get better for me, at least.
It's gonna be hard for it not to get better, Chuck. I was gonna say.
It's also true.
Um,
But I
the
don't know
acting
if
in this
like.
movie.
Go ahead.
No, the acting in this movie is just shit.
Nobody
Almost
cares.
Phoned in.
nobody cares. Everyone's phoned in. I was not when I purposely pointed out the green ball in the opening scene. I did that because when that first appeared during the seance, I went, "You have got to be shitting me," because it looks like utter garbage. Now, granted, it's supposed to. Fine. When there's another one later that's purple, it shouldn't look like shit. And it does.
It looks
Maybe
bad.
not quite as shit, but shit.
But to the acting, I think like Lori Loughlin and Meg Ryan, I thought they
They're the
did
best two.
okay. Yeah, well, and
They're
of
the
course
best
they're
part.
the only people that amount to anything. But
Yeah.
no, they were great.
Mm.
It was just
The seance
everything
scene
else.
that they have upstairs is probably the Ouija scene they have upstairs is probably the best scene.
Absolutely.
This movie is probably why Aunt Becky went to a life of crime. She was like, I can't go broke because I'm not going back to these Amityville type movies.
I wish you would. Amityville 37, Aunt Becky's back. I don't know if
37 Amityville College.
I don't know if like legitimately I didn't pay attention as much to this movie, and I didn't. I like was totally playing on my phone, fucking talking to my wife, wrestling around with the dog, all while this movie was going on, for the simple fact that my player playing it in 3D and my TV not recognizing 3D gave it like a light trail on everything, and it was so goddamn annoying that I wanted to blow my fucking brains out watching it. Top that off with the
movie just
horridness
being
that is the
bad.
movie,
It's.
that I really wanted to kill myself.
I mean.
What was the suicide rate for 1983?
Oh, I have no idea.
I want to know.
Well,
if
it'd probably be like the 1984 suicide rate. I mean, by the time people actually saw it.
Of course, considering that it barely made $6 million.
Right.
We talked about the acting. We haven't really talked about his wife. That's a performance and a writing, the dialogue wise writing. That's a choice to make someone be that like out of it, shrill, disconnected from reality. Let's be clear as the movie goes on. I mean,
annoying.
And I feel like oh crap, I almost forgot the most important part. I'll get to that in a second. I feel like you're supposed to sympathize with her. The way they write it, they want you to. They want her to be the voice of reason on some level until near the ending when she goes batshit insane. Which brings me to the actual voice of reason, the other good thing in this movie, Robert Joy. The scientist scenes are also the best scenes in the movie. I love the sensory deprivation joke. Where they
his ending wasn't great.
It was not.
It was really abrupt and like, why'd that happen?
Yeah, he's in the movie well mostly, and then suddenly he goes just as insane as the wife does. Basically, like he's been the skeptical one, but also like the scientist and stuff, and then nope, fuck it, we got to end the movie now.
Look here, boys. The best part of this movie is the chick that gets
over
in the car. Well, but the chick that gets in the car with the fire. That's the best thing about the movie. The second best thing, probably for not, intentionally comedic reasons, is at the end when all the furniture and stuff is flying around. You see like a girl get took out a window and all that stuff. Like that's the highlights of this movie that desperately needs highlights. So don't watch this unless you have to. Don't watch it unless your buddies want to do a podcast on Amityville for October. Okay, don't watch it unless you're drunk with a bunch of friends at a party. Okay, do not just watch this for the enjoyment, because you will have none. There's no enjoyment to be found.
Let us make this abundantly clear. Spoiler alert. The next episode we're going to talk about Amityville Horror: The Evil Escapes. It's a TV movie. There is more blood in the TV movie than there is in this movie. That was released to theaters as a PG horror movie. There is more horror and scares in that movie than in this movie.
Mild spoiler alert here. If this movie ends how it ends, how is there even any more Amityville?
And that too, because it's a 3D movie. So
how many times does this house catch on fire, have a fucking explosion in it?
Well, who keeps rebuilding it?
Satan does it.
Oh, Satan rebuilds it. Next morning, it's like Jason, after a while, just next morning it's just fine.
Oh yeah, fuck it.
Back how it was.
It's all Satan.
Okay, that's it. That's the canon explanation. If anybody wants to know, well, how is the house still here after the last movie? Satan did it.
Yep.
Built it.
All Satan.
Wasn't Jesus the carpenter though? Maybe he's rebuilding it.
Satan was the fallen angel, so maybe they're partners and friends.
Well, maybe he taught him a little thing or two about
That'll get some good comments.
Jesus, nice guy. He's like, hey, Satan, we learn how to put a board up.
Let's see. Satan would have Jesus would have actually nailed the boards over the well in place.
Yes, he would.
And wouldn't have just laid them there so the guy could fall through into it.
I'm gonna refrain from making a joke.
Oh.
Are you now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna refrain.
Due to a lawsuit between the Lutz family and Dino De Laurentiis over the storyline which did not involve the Lutz family, it was not initially promoted as a sequel, and the Lutz name is never used in the film.
They're just fucking fishing for money, man. Well, they were.
Supposedly, according to Wikipedia, the main character, is supposed to be a reference to Stephen Kaplan, who was trying to prove that their story was a hoax at the time.
Oh, I thought it was somebody Stephen King.
No, Kaplan.
Oh, I thought Stephen King was trying to say it was a hoax.
I forgot anything. I'm looking for anything more interesting than this movie to talk about involving this movie.
Amityville Asylum came out today, I think. On DVD.
God. Like Jaws 3D. Looking at the 3D information.
Nobody really interested makes it to the end of the movie.
I'm sorry. I missed the frisbee flying out of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And the skeleton reaching out its arms at the screen.
They were trying to get their 3D in there, for sure, at the sake of anything. As long as something's sticking out at the screen. That's all that matters.
It takes a lot for me to quote these people in anything relating to horror, but here's a couple of good review quotes for you. Roger Ebert. The images were indistinct. The film, quote, really looks crummy.
He's right.
Gene Siskel said, quote, the 3D added nothing to the experience. All you ended up with was eye strain.
They got it right for one.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how on IMDb it gives you like all the taglines for the films?
Mm-hmm.
This film apparently has 5 taglines. Are you ready?
I'm gonna assume one of them is inside these walls, nothing is impossible except survival.
That's the first one.
That's the one on the DVD, for the record.
Yes. Okay. This picture is not a sequel to the pictures Amityville Horror or Amityville 2: The Possession. Number 3, the most evil house on earth and its legacy of horror. 4, enter the gateway to hell at your peril. And this one, number 5, and this one is so fucking accurate, and it's actually, I just realized it's on the case.
So here's
for
the thing. If it's
this
what I
artwork.
think it is, I will also point out the theatrical trailer plays in this direction too. Just saying. So go for it.
Warning. In this movie, you are the victim.
Yep.
That's true. That's
Never
true.
something so fucking accurate in my life have I ever heard.
The theatrical trailer on this DVD basically does say exactly that. They are implying that you're the victim. That's from the trailer.
Well,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
The only other one they could have added that'd been good would have been like, for God's sake, don't watch the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. For God's sakes, throw it out.
Yeah.
Apparently, for the record, the alternative title of this is Amityville 3: The Demon. Which I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna pause a moment there and say, demon? Question mark.
I mean, there's
looks like a slug,
that hand.
like an alien slug.
Demon
Slugs
hand.
don't have hands. No.
Well, I'm giving it 1.5.
That is exactly the same rating I'm giving it, with the caveat that is the same rating I gave Night Killer. You should watch Night Killer before you watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because Night Killer at least is entertaining in how terrible it is.
I will also give this a 1.5.
Cast it out. Cast it away.
Hey, listen.
God damn.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, keep track of your ratings. So next year when we finish this in retrospective.
Yeah.
Next year, you're funny. Finishing, that is, saying you're going to have a long time for this.
We can rate, like rank our, rank them.
I should have no problem with that.
James is like, I could read the titles and rank them. Fuck you.
I
don't even have to watch the movies.
Those are your words.
You're thinking it, though.
No, I'm just thinking I'll remember what I thought of them.
So what's the highest we got right now? Did we rate like part 2 got a 3 or something?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the bar right now, boys.
So 3, 2.5, 1.5.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
2, 1, 3.
3, 1. 2, 1, 3. Yeah, 2, 1, 3. Sorry.
Yep. So you get a little better, then you drop off. And then we start over with It almost feels like a whole new series, even though it's technically people. I don't know what really connects, what don't really connect at this point. It was because a whole other company put out the next batch of movies, right? Like you said earlier, CBS.
It's a different producer.
Yeah. So.
It's a different producer, and we'll talk about it more when we get to it, but different producer, and it should be pointed out, like, the Amityville 3 was the last theatrical Amityville movie until the remake came out.
Yeah.
And also, Amityville 4 didn't come out till 6 years after Amityville 3. That's how bad it bombed.
Yeah. Well, the only thing this comes with is you get the 2D and 3D version, and you get a trailer.
So I saw somewhere that there's also an interview on there.
It don't say there's an interview.
It's supposed to be with, like, Candy Clark.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not listed on the case, but I saw it listed as, like, a special feature on a review. And they talked about the interview. So apparently either it's one of those classic moments where Scream Factory has a special feature they forget to put on their cover art, or it doesn't actually exist. I don't know.
There was no way in hell I was going to click on the special features on this, because I didn't want to watch anything else.
I will tell you, the theatrical trailer, because of how bad the movie is and because of that tagline, it is kind of amazing just because of how bad the movie is.
I got it.
Because it's not any there's no footage of the movie in it. None whatsoever.
Someone's like, we can't show any of this. We can't show any of this.
Yeah.
This is out of print.
So, it is out of print. It is their first. I mean, I don't know when Vincent Price collections started coming out. So it might not be their first. Because that would have technically been their first if they came first. But, I mean, you can tell.
It was their first non-Vincent Price one, right?
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we've been talking about Friday the 13th, and they don't do it as much now, but I mean, people are pointing out that the Freddy vs. Jason and the Jason Goes to Hell, right, I think, on the Friday the 13th collection are the same discs that already exist.
Ooh.
It's the same thing that happened with Halloween, if I recall, where 4 and 5 were the Anchor Bay discs.
They just repack some discs, huh?
So I will give them at least the modicum of credit of authoring the disc for 1 and 3 in this box set, since MGM certainly hadn't made a Blu-ray of them. But they basically did the same thing, even if they just made the disc themselves this time.
So
they've been doing it the whole time they've existed, in essence.
1, 2, and 3, the only thing it's getting new transfers on this?
On this one?
On the box that just came out of there. All getting...
everything else... I can give you a list.
I just wonder, like, if it's new transfers, because I know, like...
Some of some of them are listed specifically on the Shout Factory website as having new transfers, and some of them are not. Which is one of the reasons why when people were like, "Oh, it's like this," I'm like, "Yeah, of course it is. Didn't you read what it said before?"
Well, like the biggest reasons now to have this is because you've got the new transfers on some stuff, you've got an unrated Jason Goes to Hell on disc, and you get this version of Part 2 nobody's ever seen. That's like the main.
And there's a bunch of other stuff. They did do a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah.
In terms of like special features. Okay, so got it here. Let's see. Well, that's not helpful. Okay, there we go. So the first one has a new 4K scan. Second one has a new 4K scan. Second one also has newly restored original mono track. Third one has a new 4K scan and new mono track. Oh, wait, no. No, wait, I'm looking at... Sorry, that was... One has the 4K scan. One uncut has the 4K scan and the mono track. Two has the 4K, the mono track, and the uncut footage, plus a new audio commentary, a new interview with Amy Steele. A lot of radio spots and stuff are new on this as well. A lot of theatrical trailers are new. Like apparently there's like international stuff and radio spots all over the place. There's a BD-ROM disc thing that has a vintage Fangoria article for Friday the 13th one. Anyway, disc 4 has 4K scan for both 2D and 3D from original negative for Friday the 13th Part 3. Just like this, it has a 3D Blu-ray version of Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah.
So here's hoping that got better in time than then.
I hope it's not a, hey, we're going to not let you choose what the fuck you're watching.
You must have to watch the 3D version, you must have a fully capable 3D TV and 3D Blu-ray player, it says.
Just like this.
Yeah,
and I can't fucking watch it. Fuck you. Fuck you.
We'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll have
You ain't got another Blu-ray player?
Yeah,
it's not
but
the
what's...
Blu-ray player, it's the TV.
Well, I mean, you hook a Blu-ray player to a 4K TV, it's still gonna look good. I mean, if it's not a 4K TV, disc, I mean.
It's not a 4K.
Yeah, but I'd have to pull one from another room to do it.
Oh. Laziness.
Friday the 13th 4K scan, new mono track. Most of these all have a vintage Fangoria magazine article that's new on BD-ROM and new TV spots and radio spots. Yeah. Friday 5, new mono track and 2 new audio commentaries. There is not a new scan for Friday the 13th 5.
Shame. It's a damn
6
shame.
Also does not have a new scan.
Where's the love for 5? It
5 has all the old special features from the last Paramount release.
So you're just getting new stuff on 1 through 4, basically.
You get very little. No, you get new scans. You get all the same special features pretty much, with the exception of 2. For 5, you get the mono track is restored. Then you get an audio commentary with Melanie Kinnaman, Deborah Voorhees, Tiffany Helm, and Peter Bracke. So you get something that wasn't there before, at least, plus the Adam Green, Joe Lynch audio commentary that they're also claiming is new. 6, you get the restored stereo track that's new. New audio commentaries, 2 of them, supposedly. Plus 2 more old audio commentaries. And this sort of other shit. Friday 7, you get a new restored stereo track. Again. No other new special features on that besides TV spot. They say new to the set, for the record on that. So maybe they were in something else before, I don't know. 8, doesn't even get the love of a new audio track. It's just 8. 10 is Friday the Jason Goes to Hell. You get a new 2K scan of R-rated theatrical version, new introduction from the director. Then the uncut version on disc 11, you get a new 2K scan with HD inserts, new commentary with the director and Peter Bracke. A lot of new stuff in terms of interviews with the director. Kane Hodder talking about playing Jason. I know you can't wait for that, W. Additional TV footage with commentary by the directors. Jason X, new 2K scan. New introduction by Kane Hodder. Audio commentary. A thing called Out of Space, The Making of Jason X, which appears to have interviews with producers, actor Kane Hodder, and Todd Farmer. New interview with Todd Farmer, Christy Angus interview, Sean S. Cunningham interview, both on Goes to Hell and Jason X. Then a bunch of old stuff, an EPK, etc. Freddy vs. Jason, no change, nothing new, exactly the same old disc.
Don't need anything else. It's garbage.
I know. Friday the 13th, disagree, but yeah. Friday the 13th, R-rated theatrical cut and unrated cut, nothing new, no new scans, no new nothing. The bonus discs come with a Sean Cunningham interview called Crystal Lake Confidential that's new, Machete Memories interview with Steve Miner, interview with Harry Manfredini new. All this is new. Harry Manfredini scoring Friday the 13th, interview with Harry Crosby, interview with Bill Randolph. Basically, they crammed stuff for the other movies that they couldn't fit on the discs that existed on these bonus discs. So Bill Randolph is an interview for Friday 2. You know, Michael Gingold visits the locations for Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2, brand new on bonus disc. Interview with La La Land Records, Matt Verbois, and Michael V. Gerhard, and Harry Manfredini. Location hunting, 8-part featurette on the first 8 films. I think that was the old stuff. And then bonus disc 2, you get the Man Behind the Mask music video, and then an interview set with Alice Cooper and director Jeffrey Abelson about the Man Behind the Mask music video. The Legends Never Die interview with Tom McLaughlin at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Interview with Sean S. Cunningham, producer, called The Road to Crystal Lake, which is somehow different from all the other interviews with him all over this. Faceless Evil interview. Part 3 location documentary. And then Scream Queens Horror Heroines Exposed 80-minute movie including interviews with Adrienne King and Melanie Kinnaman. Slice and Dice, the slasher film Forever 2013, including interviews with Corey Feldman and John Carl Buechler. Yeah. So once you get past about 7, 10's the last one. Like, they give new scans to, on some level, either a new scan or a new audio track or both, to everything except 8 gets Dick, and Freddy vs. Jason and the remake get nothing.
So they should have somebody do a formal apology for Jason Takes Manhattan. That's what it should have been. The extras should have been the people that made the movie sitting there and just apologizing for it.
Have you ever heard about what happened with Batman and Robin? Where on the special features for the DVD, the 2-disc DVD of Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher apologizes for Batman and Robin as part of one of the interviews. Yeah.
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Well, takes a hell of a guy to apologize for that.
Can't have it on this one though.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's all of that. In other news, I can say this because it's going to be going on all month, and this will easily be out long before then. Family Video is doing a bunch of different sales on Vinegar Syndrome, Grindhouse releasing, Synapse, Severin, Mondo Macabro. Not some of the more recent stuff, a little of the older stuff. Some of the prices are good, some of the prices are bad. Get them while you can. I saw the sale today as we were recording it, and one of the items I was going to buy is already sold out. So get while you can.
They should put this stuff in store.
I mean, honestly, I don't disagree with you.
They have a wall of stuff they sell, but not just the used stuff, but they have a wall of new stuff that they sell. But it's all old movies for overpriced. Like, they've got a DVD of Pulp Fiction for $8 and stuff like that. It's like, why don't they get some of this obscure stuff or this boutique stuff, put it in the store, and I bet you a lot of people would buy stuff in the store more often. Because where can you go in the store now and pick up Vinegar Syndrome or something like that?
If you're lucky, you can go to a
Suncoast
or an FYE. Suncoast FYE.
Yeah. There ain't one of those around here, so.
So, the biggest bit of news.
I know what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got to make sure you turn it right so you can see the lenticular. There you go. Yeah.
Well, have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
he just got it 2 days ago?
He did. He just got it for the slipcase. He didn't care about the movie.
I don't know if that's the truth.
Here's what Chuck's looks like.
Yeah, that's what mine looks like. I'm still waiting for your old partner in crime to throw some more in the trash basket when he gets
Chuck. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, look. Look, Chuck.
It don't bother me. Like, I don't get that tore up by slipcases. The only slipcases that bother me is the Scream Factory ones. Okay.
This is way cooler than a Scream Factory slipcase.
Well, the movie's okay.
Nice and
It's
thick,
mostly
Chuck.
Yeah.
Sturdy.
Well, I've got vinegar syndrome slipcases, so I mean, not for the new titles.
You can sell on Facebook and stuff for more than you'd expect, I guess.
Right.
I have in my hands, Zombie 5 right now, so take that.
Well, we all have Zombie 6, so.
Killing birds. What was Zombie 6 again?
Absurd.
Absurd.
Oh, yes. Boy, that don't fit at all. But of course, why would the killing birds fit, right?
Of course not. As I say, that's the whole idea.
If you want to have as much fun, as complicated as it is to line up the zombie sequels and unofficial sequels, take a day and line up all your demon sequels and unofficial
Demon sequels is a good one too. Yeah, Demons 2, and then you get into what the
Black
Sect,
Demons.
The Sect, Black Demons,
the Ogre,
Black Cat, which
the Org or whatever.
Black Cat, which everyone just released, is technically Demon 6 in some countries.
I did an article on this one time. I wrote an article about this, and it was one of the most shared things on my website.
I had a similar one. Yeah.
Until my site crashed and it died. But
was that before or after the poll?
Long after.
It was long after. This was in my redeemable arc here, where I became the respectable journalist that I am today. And
you're a what now?
That was a good, respectable journalist. I'm a lot of things: respectable journalist, ordained minister, professional wrestler, all that good stuff.
You're an ordained minister, and you're making jokes like you were earlier in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, I believe higher powers have good senses of humor. Personally,
it certainly would explain a lot.
The duck-billed platypus.
Yeah, go with that. That's a thing. Yeah, that one's cool. In other news, I mean, since we recorded, the biggest in terms of movie news, overarching movie news, is that the company that owns Regal Cinemas in America and also owns Cineworld in England basically just said, fuck it, we're closing our theaters for the rest of the year until next year in an indeterminate time.
Smart.
Among the other reasons for this being the fact that, as we record this, last weekend, it took apparently the barest minimum of luck for Christopher Nolan's Tenet to outperform a re-release of Hocus Pocus to actually win the box office. It won by a few 100,000, but there was talk during the weekend that Hocus Pocus might beat Tenet at the box office. And while it didn't, apparently such a thing and the performance of Tenet has started to scare theaters enough that it was announced Disney's Soul is going to be released on Christmas, direct to Disney+. Chuck mentioned Wonder Woman 84. Antebellum was released a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's interesting looking as theaters go, basically, right now. In terms of that I don't know what's going to come next year in that regard, because I don't know how well they'll handle money.
It's over.
It might be. Well, drive-ins will still be there.
Put the drive-ins back up.
Put the drive-ins back up, and all the archival theaters like the Colonial in Philadelphia.
We're going full circle, boys. The drive-ins are making the comeback now. Joe Bob can take credit for it if he wants to, even though we know what caused it. And we can just say, have the drive-ins back, and that'd be better. You can go to the movie. Movie sucks. You take a woman with you, do something else.
Why'd you just take a shot at Joe Bob?
No, I like Joe Bob. But I mean, his show did come back around the same time all this happened. But
yeah, that's not. Came back.
It's not.
Almost came back 2 years before this happened.
Drive-ins were still surviving before Joe Bob came back. The ones that still were worthwhile and had survived so far kept going because they realized what they had to do.
I'm just saying, he could take credit for it if he wants to.
Sure.
Look here, boys. We just talked about this. Okay? We just talked about this. We gotta throw everything at the wall.
What? That probably played at drive-ins.
Yeah. And I bet you a lot of people didn't watch it at the drive-in too.
So we're probably made most of its money.
I bet a lot of kids. Well, I bet a lot of kids were born during the release of this movie.
Oh snap!
Or conceived during the release of this
movie. Kino's been continuing their. We can get a whole bunch of stuff off Code Red and Scorpion releasing. So they announced Tintorera Tiger Shark today on Blu-ray, coming out in January. I think they announced Black Gestapo last week, which is an old Code Red release, I think. Could be wrong on that. Stuff like that. Mono Macabro says they're going to have their Halloween sale at the end of the month. They said they've already announced the two of the movies. I mentioned them on the show before. It's Queens of Evil and Blood Ceremony. They also said that they are still going to keep their third movie secret, but they said that it is a upgrade of a film they released on DVD that has since gone out of print.
Lady Terminator.
God, we hope so. Some of the ones they've definitively said it is not include Alacarda because they can't get negative for it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a good, clean negative to work with for it. They also said it's not Snake Sisters. Those are the major two that they've said it's not. They haven't said anything about it not being Lady Terminator, also not being Panic Beats, Dr. Jekyll versus the Wolfman, Mill of the Stone Women, Girl Slays of... These are all things they didn't say it wasn't. Killer Must Kill Again.
What about the Freddy Krueger ripoff?
You know, I'll be completely honest. If they did a box set of all of the Bollywood horror collection, that would be a great idea. But I don't think they're going to do that. I have all those DVDs.
What's that movie called? Malarkey or something?
Mahakal.
Like that? Oh, okay.
Malarkey.
For the record, I would highly suspect, since Thursday, October 22nd, I'm looking at it here, in Los Angeles, they're going to have, Severin's going to premiere 4K restorations of Alex de la Iglesia's Day of the Beast and Dance with the Devil. I have a strong, strong suspicion those are going to be released for Black Friday this year. Just throwing that out there. Since they're starting to do initial push release kind of things. Yeah. Full Moon decided to throw a wild fucking curveball and decided they wanted to release an obscure giallo for no apparent reason.
One of them things Charles Band just got on some weird deal, right? Like, we'll just take it, throw it in.
Nah, he found it under a pile of zombie VHS. You know how he works.
Yeah. We've had the rights for this the whole time. And
original zombie VHSs.
Oh, original.
Not the tapes, just the cases.
I found
big,
5,000 boxes.
Big boxes.
I have one of those found boxes over here.
It was.
It serves a purpose, by the way. It serves a purpose.
For the record, they've also announced, I don't know if you heard, Full Moon has another Toulon box.
Another Toulon box?
Yeah, the Toulon box they're doing now has all the movies again. So you also get Blade, the Iron Cross, and the other ones. Mm-hmm. And they've decided to make it so it also comes with, because, and this is just me spitballing, maybe they're not selling too well, some of the Puppet Master action figures. So that you can actually put them in the box like you would if you had the Toulon box.
So, can you get this with a subscription, or do you have to buy this one on something?
It's limited to Full Moon. Yeah, limited Full Moon limited to 500 copies.
Not counting the other 500 he'll find at the warehouse in about 2 years.
That's why I said he's doing another box. He claims it's selling out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I found it on his website before. Let me actually look again, because I saw the price and I was like, ha 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 ha. But I will say also Ouija's apparently got a Blu-ray release recently from Full Moon, because reasons.
Say Ouija?
WEEJIES.
Ouija's, okay.
$300, numbered and signed by Charles Toulon's Puppet Master collectible trunk.
Jesus. You know what I never understood about him was when he would always sign DVDs that he'd send people for reviews that he didn't make.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. So like, hey, here's some random indie horror film. I'm gonna sign it.
Yeah, it comes
every time I sell a DVD, I should sign it.
Of course.
Like,
you know who else does that?
Who?
Andreas Beethman.
Who the world is that?
He's a German splatter director.
Was it Angel of Death 2?
He owns X-Rated Cult, the original hardbox company. And if you would have bought Silent Night, Deadly Night, it came with a little, because there's so much space in those hard boxes, it came with a little foil-wrapped chocolate Christmas tree, and he signed the inside plastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
This may be random. Did you find my oh hell, what's that damn movie that Adam Albright made? She's supposed to send me the, the religious slasher. What's its name?
Crossbear.
Crossbear. Yeah, you found my Crossbear. Look at him.
I don't think he heard you.
Yeah, I bet he didn't hear me. I was a nice guy.
Oh, we're
when you
still
sent me that
recording?
poster. Yeah, when you sent me that poster, I was a nice guy, and I sent you something. I threw it in. I threw it in now. Find my Crossbear.
What'd you do now? What?
I gave you an extra movie one time when I was wheeling dealing with you.
I didn't want it.
Well, you did want it. You was talking about it before. The Jess Franco movie. I just threw it in there.
I told you I didn't want it, and you said you're getting it anyway.
Well, send it back if you don't want it. If you don't want it, send it back.
Pay the shipping.
Hey, we were discussing a deal on that movie, and I remember you saying something on the lines of, well, I sent you this poster, and I didn't charge you anything for the poster. So I was like, okay, well, you want this? I'm going to give it to you. Apparently, it was not appreciated.
I mean, it's
No, don't show it. Don't show it on the screen.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Chuck, you're not allowed to give those movies away.
What movies are you talking about? These movies I bought and sold.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of snitches watching these videos. You gotta watch that.
The Puppet Master set. It's 1 through 5. Curse of... Which, for the record, I'm shocked you didn't ask to do this.
Are we still talking about Full Moon?
For a brief minute. I haven't actually mentioned the name of the movie that he's, that stuff. But yeah, it's 1 through 5. This is how long the Puppet Master franchise has been going on. 1 through 5, Curse, Retro, The Legacy, Axis of Evil, Axis Rising, Axis Termination, Blade the Iron Cross, and what appears to be, I didn't even know this fucking existed, Arcana of the Puppet Master. And then you get action figures of Blade, Jester, and Torch.
I think that last one just came out a few months ago.
Had to have.
I'm surprised that Charles Band ain't selling his own action figure yet, or a bobblehead of himself or something.
Oh, you give him time.
He's been selling himself for years. What are you talking about?
I know, right? You don't want to make it too. You don't. He never makes the joke too meta. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Dudes.
I always thought it was funny.
Now you can own me, man.
He does own voiceovers for the DVDs. Now, from the world of Puppet Man, or the world of Full Moon, comes
Is
Full
that
Moon.
whose voice that is?
Yes, that's Charles Band.
Damn it.
That is Charles Band. Because of course he would. Why wouldn't he?
Why would he charge anybody else?
He don't pay. He's cheap.
The movie is it's called Naked Girl Murdered in the Park.
Hell yeah.
It is it's from the director. What? Did he not even legitimately put the name of the director on this? Oh, Alfonso Brescia. It's from 1972. Yeah, and supposedly, as it is Full Moon's way, it will be full uncut and totally remastered from the original 35mm camera negative.
I bet.
As someone commented on the Dawn of the Discs posting about this, quote, "Since when Full Moon released stuff not from their own catalog?" Also,
lost it in a poker game or something.
Probably. 101 Films is doing a Jeepers Creepers Blu-ray.
Here comes the chaos, right?
Lord of the Rings motion picture trilogy got announced for 4K Ultra HD. I would normally have mentioned that in the group chat, but I don't think W cares about Lord of the Rings. So, rolling right along.
Do you care about The Hobbit? They're doing The Hobbit too.
Apparently there's something about Evil Dead Trap. They've hit Blu-ray in Japan.
Yeah.
Hit Blu-ray in Japan a couple weeks
ago. Apparently they look
Yeah.
awesome, but they're expensive.
And they also have English subtitles, to point out.
Y'all ought to get me one of those. Send them to me.
Yeah.
You can give me one of them Friday 13 box sets while you're at
it.
Might as well get you one of the Halloween ones too you're missing.
Yeah, right. Just pile it on in.
So, over under, how much longer do you think before Scream Factory announces their actual sale? Because they still haven't done it yet. I mean, like, this is the time when everybody announces their sales. So, Mondo Macabre is at the end of the month. CAV, via Family Video, is doing literally like sales for 7 different companies.
Because that's all they distribute. Because I'm in cahoots with CAV.
I know. I'm just saying I'm just saying that's
in cahoots. Master Video is also part of CAV, but Master Video don't want nobody to review their stuff because they're scared of reviews. Personally.
Apparently, Untold Story is selling really well, according to Grindhouse Video.
Hey, is anybody from MVD is watching this? Where's my untold story? Where's my feed, live feed? And where's
Is
my arrow
is
title?
was Clint? Was that Clint? CAV?
Yeah, yeah. They had a corona outbreak in the factory, and ever since they did, everything's gone to Hades. I can't get nothing on time. I got like May's arrow videos like last month. You know,
Poor
I mean,
Chuck.
yeah, dude. I mean, come on.
People got
Was
COVID-19, and Chuck's upset because he can't get
No,
movies on time.
now you twist this around. Now I hope they're all living well and prosperous. Okay. I just want my stuff.
now that you mentioned it, though, I am curious. I believe I asked you a question on Facebook about one of the things you got recently, and I don't
What you
think you
ask?
answered. There was some kind of comment about one of the movies you got recently, and I
What, the
don't seem to
haunting?
recall.
What'd you say about the haunting? I've been busy, man.
Oh, I wanted to know. It's supposed to be the Paramount Collector's Edition, right? Does it
Yeah.
actually make it a good movie? Uh, considering it's the
I
remake.
had the Australian version of that before they sent that. I don't care that much for it. I figure maybe it's a 3 out of 5 at the most, but it does come to digital copy though, which is always good.
I'm just like, really, Paramount couldn't find anything else they wanted to put out in this line. They had to do 4K Ultra HD of The Haunting remake. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody there got to have like a real hard on for that movie if they did that.
All right, so let's wrap this shit up.
So yeah, Amityville 3D sucks.
It's a fucking understatement.
Amityville
Yeah.
3D. The fact that Amityville 3D is jumping out the screen at you is not a. It's not a gimmick. It's a fucking threat. That's what it is.
You are the victim in this movie.
Yes, it
Literally.
certainly was.
So, join us next time when the writer of the first movie, using a TV budget and TV people and 2D, basically proves that you can make a better movie than they did in this one.
It's all true.
No better way to put it.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, see ya.